When thinking of Bilbao, we inevitably think of the Guggenheim Museum, which brought international spotlight to the city. There is also the opening scene of the James Bond movie The World Is Not Enough, which was shot there. And while it's hard to fully appreciate and discover Bilbao in just one day, today we will introduce you to the city during the Aste Nagusia, also known as Bilbao's Big Week, which has been held annually since 1978. This Big Week doesn't last 7 days, but 9 days, and starts each year on the Saturday following August 15th. After 9 days of non-stop festivities, the Aste Nagusia ends on Sunday with the burning of Marisaya at the Arriaga Theatre Square. Thus, the city tour will be under the banner of celebration, and not just any celebration, as it's one of the most popular festivals in the city. We begin our tour by exploring the Albia Gardens, which are divided into two parts, one of 4,500 square meters and another part of 1,500 square meters, comprising the Plaza de San Vicente. The two are separated by Ibanez Street. The gardens have many trees like plane trees, which reach heights similar to the buildings that surround them. Several statues can be discovered there, such as that of Sabino Arana Gori, founder of the Basque Nationalist Party. A pond presided over by the figure of a woman with raised arms holding an amphora, from which a jet of water emerges, as well as a statue of the writer Antonio Trueba. On the Plaza de San Vicente, there is an image of the Immaculate Virgin by the artist Agustín de la Herrán, and not far from there, the Church of San Vicente Martyr can be seen. Right next to it, we arrive at a square where a giant paella is being prepared, and we find a very warm welcome where the locals offer us to mix the paella with them. A paella that we will taste and which turns out to be delicious. Our visit is shaping up quite well. After this little paella break, we discover the Subisuri, which means the White Bridge in Basque. It is a suspension bridge over the Nervión River, located very close to the famous Guggenheim Museum. It was designed by the architect Santiago Calatrava, an architect we had already mentioned during our visit to Valencia, a film that we recommend you watch if you haven't seen it yet. The footbridge was opened to the public in 1997. We continue our tour along the quays. Here too, numerous stores are set up, displaying old newspaper articles about the floods that occurred in 1983, which had forced the city to suspend this grand week of festivities. There are also photos of these impressive floods. We also encounter the famous Mariraya, in front of whom the city's residents line up to take photos with her. She's a 4-meter tall woman, blonde, in colorful dresses, with her arms raised in a sign of celebration and optimism, and she is the symbol of the festivities in Bilbao. Her creator is the painter Maripuri Herrero, who was inspired by Mari, the Lady of Anbonto, to create the icon of the festivities of the Biscayan capital, who would bear the name Mistress of the party. On the docks, we can find role-playing gamers, as well as places to grab a drink or get something to eat. We now arrive at Plaza Arriaga, where the city's theatre is located. It's housed in a very beautiful building inspired by the Paris Opera. It's the work of the municipal architect Joaquin Rucoba and was inaugurated in 1890. In 1902, it was named after the Bilbao musician Juan Cristósmo Arriaga, known as the Spanish Mozart. Because of his talent, he composed his first opera at 13 and died of tuberculosis just before his 20th birthday. Today, the theatre hosts the city's theatrical and musical programming. We continue our tour towards the covered market and admire the magnificent buildings of the streets and discover the stunning Santiago Cathedral. The Old Quarter is made up of large stone buildings, intersected by narrow pedestrian-only streets, which are in turn connected by even narrower alleys. Residents live in the old city, as they always have, with ground floors occupied by shops, businesses and restaurants, while residents live upstairs. Renovations and reconstructions, due to flooding, have reshaped Casa Fierro into what it is today. A few tourist souvenir shops are scattered around the old quarter, but overall, Casa Fierro remains authentic. The Ribera Covered Market was built in 1929. With its approximately 10,000 square meters, it's the largest in Europe. These unique market halls are located in the heart of the old town, along the riverbank. The style is quite eclectic, featuring a mix of Art Deco ornamentation, including large windows, shutters, floral decorations, and other decorative elements. But the place is distinguished not only by its location and architecture, it's also an ideal spot to sample some local delicacies. And we share two local pastries, one of which is a Carolina, a tower of smooth meringue dipped in chocolate and egg yolk, layered with buttercream. Simply delicious. We continue our stroll and enjoy its typical architecture. From the terrace of the market, one can admire the buildings with colorful facades along the river. We return to the old town, where we take the time to admire the buildings, whose architecture presents a rich mosaic of architectural styles that reflect its long and varied history. One can observe Renaissance and Baroque styles, as well as neoclassical and modernist influences. There are numerous churches, such as the Church of Los Santos Juanes, which is built in a classic Baroque style and dates back to the 17th century. A little further away is Miguel Namo Square, named after a famous Basque writer and philosopher. In its center, there is a superb fountain. We discover another church, which construction began in 1743. Designed in modest Baroque style, its ground plan is octagonal. In front of the San Nicolas de Bari church, due to the festivities, numerous stands are set up, and we even have the opportunity to attend a dance class.
I take pride in never working a day. Can't see the use, shop it anyway. Who can think I'm such a low-down crowd? Growing up is just a trap.
Surrounded by hills, the Echevarria Park offers a magnificent panoramic view of Bilbao. It's one of the largest green spaces in the city, where one can stroll or enjoy the sports facilities it offers. We descend the stairs and arrive at the Platn, where we are fortunate enough to arrive for a traditional Basque dance performance.
I can't help falling in love. Maybe I just wanna feel like you, la 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 la. Next to me right here, right now, now, now. 밝아오는 아침이 약속할 만큼 난 너를 더 알고 싶어.
The square was built in the 19th century according to the illustrated spirit of the time. It features a neoclassical style and has a rectangular shape with 18 arches on two sides and 15 on the other two. Its creation was the result of the work of three architects, Silvestre Pérez, Antonio Echevarría, and Avelino Guayquatzea. It was built with golden sandstone. It has 5 entrances, 4 of which belong to the original project. The 5th was added later and is now the main entrance. The construction of the surrounding buildings corresponds to a functional language without any decorative reference. Plaza Nueva had a garden that disappeared after some work. Today, 4 massive trees embellish the 4 corners of the square. We take the metro to head towards the Plaza Federico Moya. And once again, we arrive just in time for a parade of floats. Our timing for visits is truly perfect. The crowd is everywhere, and it must be said that the parade of inflatable structures is really enjoyable to watch. Plaza de Moya, or Plaza Elliptica, as it is commonly called, is one of the most iconic places in Bilbao. The square was built in the 1940s according to the design of Luis Salinas. 60 years later, his son Manuel Salinas was tasked with renovating the space, maintaining its original oval shape, and preserving the French and English-style flower beds. Among the modifications implemented for the 1997 remodeling are some modern steel, lampposts and benches. Furthermore, much to the delight of the residents, its original iconic fountain was restored. The square is a central hub for accessing various locations in the city on foot. For example, the Museum Guggenheim, which opened to the public in 1998. It's a major attraction to visit in Bilbao. Impossible to miss this architectural monument and high place of pictorial art. Its silhouette is a result of a unique combination of stone, glass and titanium. The museum quickly became one of the most well-known and appreciated contemporary buildings in the world, greatly contributed to the revitalization and renown of the city. For lovers of contemporary and modern art, you can find works such as Jeff Koons' famous Puppy, pieces by Richard Serra, and many others. At the back of the building, you can discover Louis Bourgeois' famous giant spider sculpture, Maman. As well as Daniel Buren's Red Arches. The day is ending, and it's time to head towards the Parque de Doña Casilda Iturizar. Before night falls, on our way, we catch sight of the Iberdrola Tower, standing at 165 meters tall with 41 floors, being the tallest office skyscraper built in Spain. It's located on Plaza Euskadi, an oval space of over 6,000 square meters that transitions towards Doña Casilda Park, which was inaugurated in 1920 after Mrs. Casilda Iturizar donated the land to the Bilbao City Council, where it extends. The city is situated in the valley, which earns its nickname Boxto from its residents. It's a city that takes care of its past without losing sight of the present, with eyes fixed on future opportunities. This one-day visit proved to be too short, and we will certainly return for a more in-depth exploration of the city as it is full of things to discover. See you soon for new discovery.